talk about The Witcher. Toss a coin to your Witcher, ladies and gentlemen, but you might have to wait a little bit longer to do that because apparently, I don't know if it's been delayed or not. I doubt it will, but The Witcher Season 3 has stopped production. But why? Well, filming was scheduled for Monday the 25th. That was this past Monday, I believe. Right? Yeah. We're on the... Yep, the 25th. That was this past Monday. Dan, this is a quick story. And July 25th, mysteriously, it did not take place, leading to initial rumors of a halted production of The Witcher Season 3, a show that I really enjoyed. And I enjoy the books, too. I read all the books, and I enjoy the show. Production on the third season of the Netflix series has paused production because Henry Cavill has contracted COVID-19. Everyone, have Henry in your prayers. He is in need. He has COVID-19, and they have halted production on the show. We're gonna pray for you, Henry. We're gonna pray for you, everyone. This is a very important day, and he needs to be in your prayers today. Lord, we can't lose him. Not like this. Anyway,
he's Superman again. The Superman.
You can't take my Superman from me. But the production halted during the filming of a fan-awaited, physically demanding battle sequence called the Niku that stems from the Witcher novel Time of Contempt, which it's been a while since I read those books. I think that's the fourth book, technically. I think it's the fourth book. But yeah, I can't remember that specific little part of the book because those books get real out there. But apparently, Henry Cavill's got COVID-19, so they had to halt production. Yeah, it's interesting to hear. I don't think that the show's going to be like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be postponed or anything because, I mean, you get COVID 2 weeks later. I mean, unless something like really goes south with it. Henry Cavill's a pretty strapping lad, so I doubt he's probably going to be able to handle this thing. But he'll probably be over it and cleared within. It used to be 2 weeks. I think he can do it even faster now.
Yeah, it took about a week and a half for me when I got it over it. So
yeah, and I know that it, sometimes he's going into this physically demanding scene and all that. Maybe they'll just reschedule some things. I'm sure he'll be back on the horse in no time, and they'll be working on the rest of the season. So I doubt that that's really going to like postpone the season. But I don't even think it has a release date as of yet. I'm assuming probably next year. It's an effects heavy show, so it'll probably be next year, maybe at best next summer. But either way, I just wanted to put that out there and just let everybody know that my man crush, Henry Cavill, the one person, I'm a straight man through and through, but if I was ever going to go gay, he'd be the one. But my man crush,
dude, he's a nerd. He's a nerd. He's a hunking, awesome looking dude. He's built. He's Superman. He's like the four quadrant man for any person, gay or straight. So
he is the greatest human being on the planet Earth.
He has the gun punching hands, like in Mission Impossible.
Yeah, he cocks his arms. He's amazing. Watching him make that PC during build his own PC in during the pandemic when everybody was in lockdown, that was a glorious video. But yeah, Henry Cavill. Hopefully, in all seriousness, hopefully the guy's doing all right. I know COVID doesn't put people down as much as like it was previously, but hopefully he'll be okay, and they'll be back on the horse, and they'll have The Witcher Season 3, which I'm really looking forward to, back up and running in no time at all, and we'll get that here soon. But I know Nick, I've never really asked you, just while we're here talking about The Witcher, have you watched The Witcher? Did you like it? I guess...
I watched the first episode. Witcher, to be fairly honest, the Witcher series never really did it for me. I tried playing the second game. I tried playing the third game. Actually, I own the third game. I tried reading the books. It's not my cup of tea. The fantasy aspects are just not what I'm into. That type of thing. That's all. Well, it's not bad.
Yeah, that's fine. And I get it. Yeah. The Witcher series, and you'll understand what I'm saying here, is very much like the Gunslinger series. And for those of you that don't know, the first book in the Gunslinger series, the Dark Tower series rather, is the Gunslinger, and it's kind of weird to get into because the first book is actually kind of an anthology of short stories that Stephen King wrote. This is the Gunslinger. uh, for magazines years ago. It's about the same character, but it's all these different situations he gets to. But it's not. It's very loosely linked together, but they don't make that clear. If you didn't know that, you go into reading the Gunslinger book and you're like, what? It's all over the place. And you're like, what is going on here? It's not until
I was gonna say The Witcher is very similar to Wizards and Glass, which is Stephen King's gunslinger going back to his young days as a gunslinger in like a Wild West scenario.
The one book where everything halts and you're like, wait, what just happened here?
Yeah, they're on the train. Yeah, they're on the train rolling death chains. Like, I'm going to tell you a 6,000-page story about my life as a gunslinger before all hell broke loose and everything dropped into the doldrums and stuff. Black plague or whatever.
But that's it, yeah, it's like that. But the Gunslinger's first book, or the Dark Tower's first book, The Gunslinger, is very segmented, and it's hard to get into because you don't understand unless you already know going in that this is a bunch of short stories about the same character. There's not an overarching story until the second book. The second book, The Drawing of the Three, is when that story actually kicks off and starts. So I've always told people that get into that series, hey, the first book is really interesting, but just be prepared. It's a bunch of short stories. It's not one single. We're used to a narrative, like an overarching narrative. It ain't there. It's not until the second book, but you need that first book to understand what happens in the second moving forward. And that's what The Witcher is like too. Its first book is a collection of stories, and they're just kind of all over the place about this one character. And I think that was one thing I disagreed with what they did with season 1. I'm happy that they told those stories, but season 1 followed that template so much that it was very fragmented and all over the place. And there were times you were like, where? If you're not familiar with the books, you'd be like, where am I? What is going on here? Because that's how the book is. But in the book, they got more time to explain some things out. And in the show, it was just kind of like, I heard a lot of people talking about that. They were like, it's confusing. The timeline's confusing. And I get that. I think that they could have maybe tied all that together a little bit. And I would have been okay with them altering something. I mean, they added the whole Yennefer backstory thing. That's not in the books. So they added that in. So why not add some more connective tissue to season 1? Thankfully, season 1 was still well enough received to where it got a season 2. And season 2 is a more connected story because it takes up Blood of Elves, which, like I said about the Dark Tower series, first book, all over the place. Second book starts that overarching story, but you need that first book with those segmented stories to understand what you're getting into. So I would recommend anybody who is interested in watching this series, or the games are their kind of own thing, but watching the series or reading the book, just get through that first book. It's interesting, but just understand what you're getting into, and that overarching story starts with the second one. Dark Tower 2, great series, but yeah, give it a shot. It's the books they're long, and I found them really interesting, but they're very hardcore fantasy.
Are they like worse than Game of Thrones?
Worse in what regard?
Just how expansive and daunting they can be.
They are more expansive in my opinion. Yes, like the lore goes real deep in the Witcher series. Mm-hmm. I didn't really find them daunting. Now, when you look back, by the time you get to I think there's 5 or 6 books in the main line. I could be wrong on that, but it's been a long time. When you get to the end of it, you're like, holy shit, how did we get here? Like the stuff they do with Ciri, like in season 1, she seems like just like the damsel in distress character. Season 2, you see her start to try and come into her own, but by the end of the series, not the TV series, but the book series, Ciri's a fucking badass. She is a bad motherfucker, and they go some places. And it actually has a lot more in common with the Dark Tower series, which I don't want to ruin anything about that series or this one, the original book series at least. They start getting into a lot of the same territories with worlds and stuff, if you will. So if you've read the Dark Tower, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, but check out the books, check out the show. The show's really great, and it's got Henry Cavill in it. Of course, it's great. Nick doesn't know what he's talking about. He didn't watch it. So yeah, check it out if you are interested in The Witcher. Just have Henry in your prayers. We're praying for you, Henry, Daddy Henry. So
Daddy Henry.